Soon as we step on the mic, man, you notice the difference. Heavenly blessed with the melanin, baby, you know that we winning. No time for the long talk, got 120 on the clock. Wednesday 8 through 10, all the bad vibes better stop. Cause you gotta come with that energy. Casual convos, baby, come down and just sit with me. Lil' Co-co be spitting that remedy. Casual convos, baby, come down and just sit with me. You better take this shit serious. She dropping knowledge on head and it's free for the play. Tap it right now if you curious. We got the ham radio going lit every A. We go from people to family to pilots. Stay with me if you got something to say. Know it's important if we go acknowledge. Speak on the business and get out the way. What you gonna say about my mama? She winning, you rockhead.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Casual Convo. We have conversations about topics that affect the community's personal and business relationships. We always have that casual convo, so you don't have to have that tough convo. Yo, what's up? I'm the co-host, Boscoe from the Bronx, and I'm with my lovely host, Co-co from Baltimore in the building. Happy Wu-Tang Wednesday.
Hey, y'all. What's up?
Hey, you know, I got to leave it, open the door for you. So, roll out the red carpet so you can do your thing. Hey, let's get the party started. Uh-oh, she done disappeared on me. Anyway, while she's taking care of some business, we're having a conversation today about boundaries. Left and right, you know what I mean? Left and right, I mean male, females, or whatever. A lot of stuff going on with this. But before we get started, I'm gonna start with my thoughts and let Co-co take care of business right quick. What I want to talk about is checking in, in lieu of the death of Takeoff. Rest in peace to him and blessings to his family. I'm not understanding why we as Black people, especially artists or whatever, we have to check into cities with people who are on the streets. And I say that because there's nothing these guys own. They don't own the hoods. They don't own the property. So why do we have to check in with you to come to Houston or Chicago or Florida or whatever, wherever? You don't own it. And even so, why aren't you making other artists who are not Black? And I'm talking about Latino, white, whatever. Why aren't you having them checking in? You don't own the property. You don't own the city. You just run around in the hood. And this is one of the main things that causes our demise. We don't know the story behind Takeoff's death. We just know what we're hearing there. But I'm hearing stuff about extortion and all this other stuff. And I'm like, why are we doing this to our people? We're trying to pull each other out of the hole. So we need to cut this checking in stuff. Just show up and be like, yo, what's up, fam? Blah, 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 blah. Yo, shout out to Judy. She just checked in. But she don't have to check in per se. Why can't we just welcome these people to our hoods, our community, say, yo, what up? What up, fam? Rather than saying, oh, you need to go see so-and-so before you come to whatever city. And for those who say, you're just running your mouth, I've been to Houston. I've been to San Antonio. I've been to Austin. I've been all over Texas. I've been to Florida. Just got back from Florida. Checking with nobody because you don't own the state. You don't own the city. That's it for me. Passed it to my host. Yes, exactly. Checking in is extortion. Why are we doing that? But I'm gonna pass it on to my host, Co-co. She's in the building and she's back.
Yeah, I had some technical difficulties. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. I can hear you clearly now.
No, I just to add to that, it's kind of like when they I listen to like different stuff on different platforms, and they do say a lot of people this whole checking in thing, you gotta check in for protection and make sure you're safe while you're in the city. To me, like I just commented and thing, to me that's a form of like extortion because why I gotta pay you? No, I'm not doing all of that. If we good, if I'm good, I'm good. But I think it's also like when we was talking about it like last week, the whole thing of when we do certain things to make it out of a situation and then we want to go back to what we try to come out of. So I look at it like the parts of where they're checking in or what they want to do is still the same behaviors and the same environments. For some reason, we gravitate back
Mm-hmm.
to that instead of just elevating. And I look at it
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to keep it that real. I'm not that married to this or married to that. I don't care what nobody say to me. If I'm working and busting my ass to make it out of something, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not just gonna go back. And especially when you have a certain status, you put yourself on the line
Mm-hmm.
for something bad to happen because we know what happens in certain, they hungry. And you look
Mm-hmm.
like you eating good. So what do you think gonna happen? If I gotta go through all that and I gotta pay somebody to make sure I'm good, I'm not going.
You know what? It's funny because I remember when hip hop first dropped. My first exposure to hip hop before it was called hip hop was in '76, and I can't remember when our artists back then from the '70s to the '80s, even to the '90s, had to check in. When they showed up in Atlanta or Houston or Baltimore or whatever, it was like, "Yo, so and so is here," and everybody just flocked, and it was like everyone was happy to see that guy. And if we have to pay to be protected if I in our own neighborhoods, I don't want to go to the neighborhood.
Right.
I don't want to go. I'll be like, okay, I'll just chill with the white folks or the black people that act white. I'll just do that, because I'm not paying you a dime to come to a community that we both been a part of, just in different areas, just
Right.
to protect me. I'm coming to see you guys. You know, if I gotta pay to protect myself just to see people who I want to see on the come up, forget you. I just won't come because it's not worth it. Shout out to Lamont. He's in the building.
Fallon. Hey
Fallon.
Pooh.
Yep.
Jude, she here.
Yep.
I
Welcome.
think
Yep.
that's a good opener for actually honestly for boundaries too, because I think
Mm-hmm.
that goes into how we create certain
Mm-hmm.
certain boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about talking about boundaries. I know I did it before, but I want to do it a little bit different because I think the last time I had like a lot of no
Mm-hmm.
offense to anyone, a lot of female perspectives. So I think to create the balance of male boundaries throughout life as compared to women boundaries or joint boundaries, which is also like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to kind of pick your brain. So when you hear
Mm-hmm.
as a male, when you like, okay, I have these boundaries or I'm setting these boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
how would you explain what those are to you?
Basically, what they are, where I draw the line, like I just, I'm not into this, or this is what I expect, or this is what it based boundary. Like, just say I use sex as a topic.
Mhm.
Just say a person says they don't like to be just randomly touched. Just say they like affection, but they just don't like. I bet you they like to have the freedom to do things without this person having to always follow them around or whatever. It's just where I draw the line. Like, nah, I don't want to be touched or stuff like that. That's the best way I could put it.
Okay. I think of it like for me, I think boundaries are like those are lines I don't want people to cross for certain reasons. It could
Right.
be protective things, um, or especially to keep things on a certain
Yeah.
wavelength and afloat to for something positive.
Right.
One thing my main thing I do create boundaries with like people and situations.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes I think sometimes some people can say they mean well, but I think when you crossing the line because a lot of times people
Yeah.
cross certain lines that they don't want nobody to cross for them.
Right.
So I look at it like I just want to have a conversation about how you set certain lines, stick to them, or is it just like a form of controlling? Because some people consider boundaries a controlling mechanism.
Right. I think with us men, um, it's not about control. It's about saying, we don't want to. We rather you not cross this line because we know what could happen, like conflict or whatever. Like anytime I meet someone, and I say, okay, we're gonna take it a little further. I let them know right out the gate. I mean, I don't have many boundaries. Um, but I always say, okay, this is what I'm about. This, yeah, I draw that line because, and I'll say to why, you know, I feel this way, so it's not towards you or whoever. This is just, to avoid conflict or whatever, so they know it's nothing surprising down the road. Well, I didn't know. You did know because I let it be known, you know.
Right. So you,
Judy.
I went to my local Google,
Hmm.
and it says, um, it helps create clear
Hmm.
guidelines, rules, limits of how you would like to be treated. They let others know what is and what is not okay, accept and or acceptable. It honors our needs and wants so that we feel respected and safe. So there are four personal boundaries:
Hmm.
emotional, physical, sexual, and workplace.
Yeah.
So one thing, all right, one thing that I did want to, I know it's
Hmm.
kind of off step, and I know we bring a lot of the celebrity stuff into,
Hmm.
but I feel like, okay, like, are you familiar with like I think it's going to take me into a couple of the personal ones. The Dwayne Wade family situation with the daughter, with the you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I a little bit. Um.
You breathe too hard for me. The reason
Okay.
why I say that because everybody
I need
kept
to pull
saying
up my little air pop up. I keep forgetting.
no, because everybody kept saying, "Where is the mom?" throughout this whole like journey or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
So when I kept saying the story, I'm like, I felt to me, I've always felt like Gabrielle
Hmm.
crossed a lot of boundaries when it came to parenting. People don't
Yeah.
understand there are boundaries that you have as a parent.
Right.
Now, at the time, I get it before she was having kids or whatever like that. I know a lot of people, it's a sensitive spot for some people if they do
Hmm.
or don't have kids. And I understand input, but there are certain lines that you should not cross because everybody
Hmm.
doesn't parent the same.
Yeah.
However, sometimes your view is not needed if you're not there 24/7, 365 days a year.
Hmm.
Certain decisions, if she was still active, even though she didn't have full custody, she was still an active parent.
Hmm.
But it's kind of like it seemed like Gabrielle isolated her. So now what we see is the mother like, forget this. Okay, y'all did this, and she's saying like publicity stunts. So I feel like there should have been privacy boundaries. We're
Yeah.
talking about a teenager. Now I'm all for LGBTQ plus rights
Hmm.
and all of those things. I heavily support that. But I think when you have someone that young, and when we talk about like, um, I agree about the exploitation.
Hmm.
So there should have been boundaries set. Okay, if this is what's going to happen, we have to have a level of privacy. But to not include that mother, I felt
Right.
like they didn't, either the mom didn't set clear boundaries, or old girl and old boy was like, forget your boundaries. We gonna do what we want to do. But I think we got to create safe spaces and boundaries for our kids.
I think with that situation, I'm gonna put this on Dwayne.
Right.
He should have. He's the father, and I can't remember her name. But she's the mother.
Hmm.
That should have been a conversation, regardless. She he should be in that. The child stays with him. He should have went to her and said, "Hey, this is what we're talking about," because she don't know. She's living in
Hmm.
another household, so he should have reached out to her and say, "Yo, this is what we're discussing."
Right.
And I do believe it's publicity and all this stuff. I really do, and I hate it because this child's not 18 yet, and 18 is usually the cutoff age, and I know, right? I'm gonna say something that's gonna people gonna call it homophobic, but it's not if you look at what I say in context. Um, a boy, certain states give you your freedom at 16, and males usually mature a little bit later to where females 18, 17, 19, whatever. And technically, scientifically, biologically speaking, still a boy. And I say, you can't go into the military till you're 17. I think they upped it to 18. I'm not sure. You can't vote until you're 18. It's a lot of stuff you can't do till you're 18. And I think they should wait until the child is 18. Because I'm seeing, even here locally, a lot of people who have made that switch real young, did it as a fad thing, and
Mm-hmm.
now they're regretting it. Like, because everyone said, "Oh yeah, it's okay to do. It's okay to do." And if that's how you feel, I have no problem with that. And I want to get that out there to the LGBTQ plus people. If that's how you really feel inside, and that's what your mind is telling you, do your thing. But for those who just doing it as a fad, you're gonna have consequences down the road. So you really need to think out these decisions, because I know a few people who said, I mean, they haven't gone through the complete change, but they started the hormones and now they regret it. Like some of the guys, got the boobs and all, and they're like, "Dang, man." And some of the females I know, like, got the beard, and they're like, "Dang." I said, I just look at them like, whatever. What can I say? You know. And with them, I think they need to wait until the child is 18. You
Well,
know.
I agree with the mom, because but
Hmm.
people gave her a lot of backlash, but I had to really like read her response. She
Hmm.
wants the child to wait at least until 18,
I
do
agree.
counseling, do some things, and all of that. No, yeah, I agree with you. Some people really do feel trapped in their body,
Yeah.
but when you talking about a child,
Right.
I'm sorry, like when you just having raised three teenagers at some
Hmm.
point, their mind changed like the wind.
Yeah.
And we get experiences. I still think 14, 13 is too young to make
No.
go into um a full body change. But when you
Hmm.
talking about surgeries and stuff like that, I don't think that's something that's still not a decision that
Hmm.
a child should make. I still think there should be boundaries you set on your kids.
Right.
And I mean, you have people who, granted, yes, they get it and they want it, that's fine. But when
Hmm.
you're talking about a 13, 14-year-old, it's not the child putting it out there, it's the parents.
It's the parents.
So when I talk about creating a boundary for that, I think it should still be the boundary set of, okay, we're not going to put this out there for our child. So when your child get bullied, then that's why you see a lot of kids even
Hmm.
just coming out, and they put it on social media, they put it online, they get bullied, and next thing you know, you got suicide, you got all of these other things. You don't know what situation you putting this child in, because
Hmm.
for whatever it is that you want to do.
Hmm.
It just seems forced. It seems like it's an agenda behind it. I'ma just say it. Um, I just don't agree with exploiting a child. And if that's what she
Hmm.
wants to do when she gets of age, or however she wants to do it, then fine. But I don't think this woman, that's not his biological mother, if the mother is present, should be, she came out first
Hmm.
with the child. As a mother, me personally, you're not about to put my child on no podium and put all their personal business out there.
Hmm.
Now, granted, if you want the support, that's the boundary that me personally, as a parent,
Hmm.
I do have boundaries for my kids.
I'm with you
Now,
100% on that.
I don't mind my kids going to, like, certain friends for certain advice, because I'm gonna be real, everybody can't give the best advice,
Right.
especially if you still doing certain things and still making bad decisions or impulsive decisions, right?
Right.
No, I don't want my child coming to you. But if I say
Hmm.
something and I have a rule that applies for my parenting skills, respect that. Don't be like, don't listen to your mother, don't do this, don't do that. Um, and you get what I mean? Like you just, it's just certain things that you just shouldn't cross, like certain lines, as like, for me. That was how I did. Cause like, even being a young parent, some things I was like, okay, because I didn't know I needed help. You get what I mean?
Hmm.
And I would go to like other family members, stuff like that. But
Yeah. Hmm.
but when it came to certain stuff, if I said my kid was punished,
Hmm.
that don't mean you think you gonna come and get them so they can be off a punishment. My punishment still stands.
Right.
I don't care where they go. You can't, because now you confuse the child on discipline and the rules of the household.
Right. I agree with what Jude said. I believe the kids, this is legitimacy. But I still think they should wait till 18 because there's a lot of stuff you can't do anyway until you're 18. And I'm pretty sure this child really feels that way. Um, but I think with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle, I think they're doing it wrong. I just think, look, stop putting this child out there showcasing and all this stuff because I just really think they're just exploiting the child. I
Yeah,
really
because
do.
that's a major decision.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
gonna I'm
exploiting
gonna
the
just keep
child.
it all there, but that's a major decision to make as a kid for what you want to do in the future. So who's to say you go through that, and then let's say she don't feel that way at 19. But
Right.
she done got it because the narrative was pushed, and now everybody's going up for it. And I feel like we got to stop creating excuses and taking our personal stuff and putting it onto the kids too.
I,
That's another boundary that I also have, especially with mine, because you had some people who want to live vicariously through their children or through your kids.
I think right now we're in a society where people, it's a follow the leader society. This person is doing, oh, I'm gonna do it too, and everyone is like, yeah, this is a great thing to do, and then I'm thinking like, oh, wait, this may not apply to you, and everyone's just jumping on things, just jumping on these movements, fads, waves, whatever you want to call them. Everyone's just jumping on like, yeah, 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 yeah. But everything has consequences. It goes to the freedom of speech thing with Kyrie. People just don't get it. He has a right to say what he has to say. No one's stopping his free speech. But there are consequences, repercussions with anything. Free speech does not protect you from ridicule or whatever. If you went to your job today or tomorrow and you say white people are the devil, da 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 da, you're free to say what you want to say, but your employer can fire you. Period. Oh no, he's canceling my free speech. No, he's protecting his business. And that's with anyone. Like I had a situation with a couple of the woke niggas where I said, I told him it was like they're trying to get Kyrie's free speech. I said, no, they're not. I said, even though what he said wasn't anti-Semitic, because it wasn't. I mean, what he shared, it wasn't anti-Semitic. It really wasn't. And I do support him on that because he didn't post nothing bad. But I told him, I said, and I'll use the analogy again. I said to these guys, what if you had a business and this white guy was just spewing stuff that may have been true about some black people, may have been true. About maybe see he came to work, maybe he's on his social media saying, crime is bad in the black community, da 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 da, or bring up the checking and stuff. Okay, he's right, 'cause we do have that issue. Would you keep him on your job or would you fire him? They said, I'll
Well,
fire him.
I got another theory, and I think we forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to work, the boundaries are already set. When people
When
don't
you
read
walk in that door.
their manual and their policies, procedures, and all of those things
Mm-hmm.
are the boundaries set by the company that you work for. And
Right.
once you start and you do it, you agree to those boundary lines set.
Mm-hmm.
So I know me,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like boundaries are most crossed in the workplace and in friendships and
Mm-hmm.
like relationships.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when it's not respected because you can have, like I said, they do that. So now all of a sudden you want to create your own. Now I look at it like me creating my own boundaries is like my space is just respect my space, respect
Mm-hmm.
my desk, respect my office, respect how I work,
Mm-hmm.
respect what I want to be left alone. Do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a lot of environments like you may have like for instance if somebody sit at your desk,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they know you had your stuff a certain way, and they go and rearrange all of your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You crossed the line.
Yeah.
You messed up, and that's that.
Yeah.
But if you sign up to say, okay, this place has like a lot of places have like social media policies.
Hmm.
They have etiquette policies and all of these things, and the do's and don'ts of racism, bullying, and whatever. So even when you go into anti
Semitism.
yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. When
Mhm.
you go into that will fall under those guidelines. So we can't ignore the fact that when we have these jobs, and so now that you do that, that's their leg to stand on
Right.
because you signed up for that. So we gotta be cautious and we gotta be aware and really read what's going on. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of times, and I had this conversation with coworker the other day, and we was talking about like the policies and procedures, the handbook.
Hmm.
And the response was, I don't never read them. I said,
I
you
don't need.
stupid. I'm a person that I'm a push the limit. I know
Yeah.
I'm a subordinate. So
Me
I
too.
need to know how far I can go with this.
Me too.
I ain't gonna never cross the line. So I
Hmm.
think that's creating your safe space.
Because you see what I post on Facebook. In my job, they know me. They've known me. Cause I just came back to them a couple of months ago after working for them. I don't know, 3-4 years. They know me. They know how I am. But the one thing I won't do is I won't cross that line where I'm actually showing hate. You know what I mean? And sometimes they be like, "Yo, Idris, chill a little bit," But I don't. They don't. I don't do anything to break the rules. I say what I have to say, but I don't break the rules. And see, that's what those are the boundaries. And see, with boundaries come accountability. Because if you cross some boundaries, you have to be accountable with what you. And that's where, and I'm speaking among black people because I know they say, well, white people do. I'm not talking about white people. Okay, this. I'm talking about us right now. So white people, y'all good right now. I'm talking about black people. Um, we for some reason don't want to be accountable. We make excuses. No, you have to be accountable. We are quick to hold others accountable, because they cross our boundaries. And I don't care if they call me Charleston White. No, I'm just kicking it 100. Like I said, keeping it a buck. And with the Kyrie situation, I want to use that situation is people are saying how, yeah, I support you. I support him too. But I also know he has to be accountable for his actions. You know, he
But
has
if
to be
you gonna break
accountable.
the rules, this is where they lose me. And
Yeah.
and tell me if I'm wrong.
Hmm.
If I say something and I know and I'm saying that I'm standing up for what's right,
Hmm.
and I really want to make people aware of what's going on to be aware and alert, and I have a purpose of positivity that I'm fighting for, my moral compass. You
Hmm.
can't you're not going. I'm not going to apologize for that.
No,
I don't care
Muhammad
who
Ali.
I hurt. If that was the truth that I'm a stand in your truth, and that's where they lose me with it. And then it's kind of like, um, we'll go up for it when it's da and that's when they're like, well, I'm sorry for who I offended. No, the truth hurts a lot of times, and if you got offended, you just got offended.
Let me address Fallon. Because she said, so we agree with him, then why does he have to be accountable? You always have to be, he has to be accountable for what he said. We can still agree with him, but he has to be accountable for his actions, his words. That's anybody. The statement she's making, and I'm not disrespecting Fallon at all. I'm just saying you need to read what you just wrote. If we agree with him, then why does he have to be accountable? He's the one making a statement, not us agreeing with him. He's making a statement. Like Muhammad Ali, a lot of people agree with him. And what he said was right. But you still have to be accountable for what you say, whether you're right or you're wrong. These are your words. We can support whoever we want. Like me, and you know how I am. I stand by my word. I don't apologize for what I say. I may apologize for my delivery, but what I say stands. That's it.
And it's not us that's holding him accountable; it's the
No,
organization.
yeah,
When
we're
you have
not.
to
Yeah,
speak up from these organizations, and my thing is,
yeah, we're not holding them accountable.
y'all know who y'all work for.
Thank you.
So if you know you work for these people, when you say it, you know it's going to be some static. So just make sure that's what you want to say. And then when you say, just stand tall and be like, I ain't apologizing. That's how I feel. And to get out, however it may come. I mean, it may be an L for us employment wise.
Mm-hmm.
But if that is your truth, because you didn't see people at one time, if they spoke up for something, they wasn't taking that back.
You know why? And see, that's what I said about the Kanye situation. People say, yeah, Kanye. I said, but you know what? Kanye knew who he was dealing with. He knew. He knew. And when you make a deal with the devil, don't get mad when the devil does what he does. It goes back to what I said last week about the frog and the scorpion. You know what the scorpion is going to do. So why did the frog give him a ride on his back across the water? But when the scorpion stung him, he said, why did you sting me, Mr. Scorpion? The scorpion said, that's in my nature. That's what I do. And they both drown. When you know, and I say, and I'm not trying to take this conversation to another, somewhere else, but
He was going to happen. Go ahead.
yeah, we know when they say about the Jews, and I'm not saying anything anti-Semitic, but when they say stuff about the Jews and what Kanye said, he ain't saying nothing we already knew. We didn't already know.
I think we
Yes.
need to create those type of them same social boundaries. Because I
Thank
feel
you.
like and I think that goes into Fallon's question.
Yeah.
Um, we need to hold people accountable for things that they say about we take it all and we make it into jokes when we get
Exactly.
insulted about our race and our culture. I think that's the thing. So I think
Yeah.
we should have those same safe spaces where somebody go public and be like, oh, all y'all thugs, or y'all this, y'all that,
We,
or
we need to hold them accountable.
right. We need to come out and be the same thing. You need to apologize.
The
You
problem
know.
with that is we should. The problem is we have a lot of apologetic blacks, and I'm gonna tell you what they are. These are the ones that like, and I got a lot of them in my friends list. I go at them all the time. No matter what a black person does, they will not. It's the whataboutism. Yeah, but he no. We need to hold him accountable too, because he represents us. We can't let him have a pass when he does things. We got to hold him accountable. And it's not talking about Kyrie. I'm just saying in general, because a lot of people kept mentioning the Kyrie situation. And I said, look, I never said I don't support Kyrie. I said not one time in any of my posts did I say did I not support Kyrie. I said free speech is not protected from criticism or accountability. It does not say because you say something, no one can say anything back to you. That's why the Ku Klux Klan can still walk the streets. But we can also say stuff back to them because that's our free speech. And see, that's where our people need to read more.
Mhm.
Read the Constitution. Oh, that's the white man. No, it is what it is. But see, that's what we want to complain, but we don't want to read where the stuff come from. Read the Constitution. I have a small, what's in my bag now? A small book like this big. It's real small, little handbook. The whole Constitution. That's why when I speak on Facebook, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But
but you just go to jail for it.
yeah.
Can I ask the question? I just want to
Mhm.
switch it up a little bit. Just
Before you do, let me respond to Fallon again. She said, "I agree with holding people accountable, but I think we have to consider other things when we're doing so. We're not saying that when you agree with somebody, we're not saying that we hold we have to hold people accountable for things they do wrong. Period. We have to I'll say again, we have to hold people accountable, but you just can't say, okay, well, we have to consider this. If I say, and I don't, it's not how I feel. If I say I hate white people, every white person that walks this planet is gonna say he is racist. He's da 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 da. Now y'all may agree with me. Say, okay, yeah, I don't like white people either. Y'all might say that. But I have to be accountable for what I said. Now, y'all don't have to hold me accountable because y'all agree with me. Because it may be a fact. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it may be a fact. But still, I have to take this sword and say, okay, they're coming at me. But the thing about it, I'm going to stand firm with what I say. I'm not going to apologize for what I said. If that's how I feel, Muhammad Ali did it, Kurt Flood did it, Colin Kaepernick did it, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf did it. They said, you know what? This is how I feel. This is how I'm going to be. You have to fall on to, but these guys are scared to lose their meal ticket. But go ahead with your question.
if that is because you was going there.
Oh, I'm gonna
No,
say it.
I was going to say I just wanted to switch it up because I know I wanted to try to cover some other stuff.
Mhm,
An hour, so I just want to switch it up just a little
mhm.
bit. But if it
Yeah.
come back, it come back. So, do you have the same boundaries for your family
Oh
as
yeah.
well as your relationships?
Oh yeah. They know my boundaries.
No,
My
like are they
family.
the same or do they differ?
I guess they differ some.
Like how?
No, I can't say they differ. No, I can't say that because I know what I know. I know what I want. I know what I expect, and I put that across the board. So I can't say that. I can't say they're different.
I think some of
I mean, I'm not in a relationship, so that that's kind of like, you know,
well, even I don't. I look
y'all
at
heard
it.
that? I am
I think
single.
the one boundary I do have for my family and my relationships that's the same is I draw certain lines.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in a relationship, my family or my friends really don't have much of a say so.
Oh, that yeah.
What happens within that relationship? Now, I don't feel like you really don't have an opinion. Only because we vent for certain reasons and certain purposes, but the whole truth is not always there. And not only that, don't overstep and say what should be going on or what should be doing. And the same thing with like my family. I don't want where you know how some people get comfortable and think they can approach somebody
Mm-hmm.
or say something or call shots in your relationship. And I feel the same way about when it comes to family stuff. Whoever my partner is, some things with the family you gotta let me handle. The same way
Yeah.
if I'm dealing with somebody, certain things for him, I'm
Yeah.
not going to overstep those boundaries because he needs to deal with that with his family. He
Right.
deal with me. I deal with him, not the family, unless I'm personally involved. That's a different situation. But if it's something going on, I don't have a 2 cents to add. Only person I need to support is this person right here. But also when it comes to family, I think a lot of times, granted, our friends, family, whatever, want the best for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they need to be all up in your business.
Yeah.
I don't. You can't tell me what I can and can't do with the person that I'm with, and vice versa. I think that's the line that need to be drawn. And a lot of times, the ones that be trying to cross those lines,
Mm-hmm.
they living in a glass house, and they just come on
Yeah.
now. Let me throw these cinder blocks back through your shit because
Mm-hmm.
you know daggone well
Mm-hmm.
this one done had 18 kids on you, and you trying to talk about me what I got going on. You might have did a little cheat, but if I'm going to stay, let me stay. Let me get tired.
Hey, I don't mean to laugh, but I just
Right.
gotta address. I just gotta address Fallon because she got the Linus cruddy face up there.
That's my baby.
Okay, Fallon. I mean,
Right.
I get what you're saying, Fallon. I'm going to give you a situation. Suppose your children. I don't know if you have any children. See the cruddy face, the Linus face. Um, suppose I said I don't know if you have any kids. But suppose your son has to deal with this teacher at school. You know this teacher is a straight up ass. You don't like the teacher. Your son don't like the teacher. The whole lick. Suppose he goes to school, right? And the teacher say, "I'm just giving your son a name. I don't know if you have a son or not, but what if your son went to school? Your teacher say, Mister, what's her last name? Giles. He says, Mister Giles, I I don't want to hear you. Please be quiet. And your son stands up and says, Mr. Krabappel, suck my dick.
That sound like my son.
Now, they send him home from school, okay? Now, you know, the way he feel about that teacher, you feel the same way.
That's
Well,
where he
all right,
got it from. Yeah. Listen, you right, son. You did
you feel
that.
the same way about him.
We going to Mickey D.
Oh, you be like, yeah, I'm glad he stood up to the teacher. you still gotta hold your son accountable. He could be 5 years old. He can't go to school saying Mr. Krabappel sucked my dick. He can't do that. You may feel like, okay, he stood up, but he gotta be accountable, even though you agree that the teacher's a knucklehead. That's the point I'm making. I mean, I know it's not acceptable, but see, see, if you didn't put the cruddy face up there, that's why I try not to laugh. I seen it up there and I said, I gotta respond. But no,
Well,
I
I
mean,
don't know. I do have. Well, I think I said it on here before.
yeah.
I had a similar situation with my youngest when
But
he went to school.
shout out to you, Fallon.
No,
He love you. Thank
I
you
think I
for
probably
yeah,
told. I think I told Fallon about this too.
yeah.
Um, he was young. He was probably in elementary school,
Uh-huh.
and I remember I was told you he was watching
Mhm.
Hidden Colors. He
Oh,
was going through the series. He was reading. I mean, my son was on his Black Panther, and went to school told the people they couldn't teach him about him. So of course, they called me to the school
hmm
and was like, yeah, well, and when they told me what he said, I'm looking like, all right, you he right. So he looking
yeah,
at me like you can't. And I was like,
right.
wait a minute, I'm here now. That's the boundary that I had to put. All right,
Yeah,
son, I got you now. You chill. That's
yeah,
when you being disrespectful. I get where you coming from and you passionate about it, but when I'm here, you let me ride for you. And
right.
but like I told him, I said you have to understand,
hmm
we teach them at home.
Right.
So certain things, and then it was remember he had told him the teacher something about the Pope was black because I didn't even know at the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
He told me. So they made it seem like he shouldn't have said it. Why not?
right.
And at that time, you could Google that, but now they took it off of Google. So that's why I
hmm
don't always trust Google because they pick and choose what they want you to know, or
hmm
how far they want you to dig back. So
That's why people should read the old books because you can't change those old books.
right. So in turn, what happened was I didn't hold him. I held him accountable as in good job. You was right because
Right.
you're not gonna tell him he wrong when he wrong. So
Right.
I guess when she said when you can consider certain
Mm,
things,
yeah.
I'm not gonna silence him on that. But what I'm
Right.
gonna do is I'm gonna check you.
Right.
And at that time he was in the county curriculum, which
hmm
was predominantly white at the time.
hmm
So, they didn't like that. So
hmm
I showed them. This is
Yeah.
it right here, like da 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 da. Da. But he was so on it, and he was
Yeah.
becoming so militant. I was like, Lord Jesus,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
couldn't. I'm not going to sit there and tell him he wrong. So,
Right.
and I always teach my kids when you know you right
hmm
and you can back that up,
Right.
you may not ever apologize for it. And they even
Right.
like with me. So I
Right.
feel like I teach them moral compass and you stand tall in what you believe in. Because if you don't have nothing, you got your faith, you got your morals, and can't nobody take that from you.
You know
And
what?
they gonna stand tall on that.
I'm gonna tell you why I gave that scenario. And of course, it's not acceptable. However, we have a large proportion of black people who will still back up that type of child who will stand up there and say, that's what I'm talking about. Not all of us would do that, but there's a lot of because if you she just I'm actually follow me on Facebook. You don't have to send me a friend request. All my posts are public.
And just
And
follow him because he going to jail a lot. You
yeah,
ain't gonna
that's
know
just follow me.
what
Yeah,
follow you
just
or not.
follow me.
But
Is
anyway,
it Salam or the
let me
yeah,
let me flip back into the family relationship thing because I
yeah,
really need to just get the male perspective on this.
yeah,
So you heard what I said.
yeah.
People need to stay in their lane and and I feel like a lot of rift and relationships come from other people on the outside having
Mhm.
something to say about your relationship, or some
Mhm.
people feeling some type of way about the person that you're seeing.
Yeah. With me, my family knows how I am because I've always been like this. Going back to when I was a little kid, my mother always said, "You are the different child." Because of four of us, I was the different one, the one who played over there by himself, the one who didn't say anything. I was always being that way. So as time went on, people in my family saw that he doesn't want to be bothered until wants to be bothered. And they used to think something was wrong with me. No, and I had to say, look, no, I like peace. Don't come to my house if I didn't invite you. They know I don't like to talk on the phone. When I do, I'm the type of person that like with love, I don't show a lot of emotion. That don't mean I don't care about you. But when I love hard. And I just have my ways. And I know I have my ways. I'm flawed. It's not nothing bipolar, nothing. I just know how I am. So they know me. They already know what boundaries I have. Don't cross them. Because if you cross them, then I'm gonna be pissed. Don't I feel it as disrespect. Now when I meet someone, I tell them how, I let them know this is the type of person I am. You know, I let them know right out the gate. These are my boundaries. I don't have many boundaries. Mine is more like my main boundary is I like peace. Just let me have peace. That's it. And I make them simple. So, but I guess the boundary is the same with both, but they know if I'm in a relationship, stay out of it. Stay out of my business unless I say, yo, blah, 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 blah. This is going on. I ask you advice, but don't, if you see something that happened that I need to know, okay, but yo, man, I seen your girl with this dude. They were okay. Let me know, but don't tell me you don't like. I shouldn't be with somebody because you don't like the person. Because you know what, you're not with the person. So mind your business. But they know how I am, so I don't have to set any boundaries with them. I really don't. I haven't had to set boundaries with them in 20 years, maybe longer, because they know me. So that's that.
I got the same boundary about don't pop up on me.
It don't pop up
because you won't get in.
Yeah,
I've
I
even
won't
done
even
that.
answer the door.
I've even done that to my mother before. Like you
I
did
got
not
it from
call.
my mother.
Yeah, you did not call. Don't don't go there. Don't come to me with the bull crap.
You know what we
Um,
call those kids? My mother told me when we was kids, we call it igging the nigga at the door. She said, don't even open the door. Don't even look out the blind to see who it is. Because if you didn't tell them to come by, that means they don't have a key to your house, that means they're not supposed to be there. That's what she told me.
and another one is mine is if I need space or if I need to back away. Allow
Yeah.
me that. Don't try
Right.
to force me to talk to you.
Mm,
Don't do that, and don't try to play in my face because
Mm-mm.
I notice I do like to protect my peace. But
Mm-hmm.
some people like to disturb your peace, and when they disturb your peace, and then you got to cuss their ass out, then you become the wrong person. You get what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But people don't understand what they do when they cross certain lines and don't
Mm-hmm.
respect your boundaries. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
take you there. Now, I
Right.
respect everybody. I'll give everybody respect. When I feel like you're not respecting my wishes and what I'm asking, I feel like, yeah, you deserve whatever you get at that point.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I don't have those problems because they know my family see how I am when you break my peace, so they leave me alone.
Failing Pacifically at the clinic, Pacifically.
Specifically. Good. You take to the clinic.
Pacifically, dude.
Oh man.
But no,
Mm-hmm.
now when it comes to, I don't know, um, my friendships,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to understand people and where they are and what they want. Like sometimes, so it's like sometimes you gotta He made me lose my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I with me friends, I don't have many friends. I'll be honest with you. I got one good close homie here because a lot of them they didn't respect the house. Like um where I once lived, I would invite people over and they would be wandering around the house. Yo, where you going? Uh-uh. Nah, where you go? No, no, where you going? Come here. You know, it would be like that. And I got to the point like, look, this is where we are. This is where we're camped right here in my living room. Don't be going in my bedroom. Don't be walking up and saying, yo, oh, I had to go to the bathroom. And you wander around the house when I say the bathroom's right here, you know. And after that, like where I've been here, I don't know, 6 years, maybe 7 years. And not 10 people has been in my house in the 6 or 7 years I've been here. Not 10 people. Because I tell them, nah, nah. I got one homie.
I'm sorry. I got
You
it.
good? You good?
No, okay. So when it comes to friendship, I think a lot of times, I feel like, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So sometimes, and I've stopped being friends with people because of this. It's like people don't respect when you need your moments.
They don't.
Um, and they try to force you to have those moments. So I feel like they keep throwing me off. I'm so sorry. I feel like when you don't allow a person to have those moments, you take away their space. You're not respecting
Mm,
this line. But then
mm,
when it's the shoes on the other foot, it's like everybody's supposed to be understanding, but you
mm,
don't have the opportunity. And I know me, I'm that person that a lot of times I don't be feeling like I'm in that space to have privacy or
mm-hmm.
to be private.
Yeah. I live a very private life. I live a very private life. Half the people I know don't even know where I live. I live a very private life. I hate it because, yeah, when you try to explain to some people that you need your space, they get an attitude like, "Oh, you act like you don't want to chill. Oh, you act like da da da." No, I just want to be by myself. I just want, just want my space. I want to be by myself. You know, that's all. Oh man, you be acting funny. I'm an introvert. I've always been an introvert. I said Facebook is the most activity I have with people. You know, I'm not. I don't have any type of disorder. It's just I like being by myself. That's it. It's like being by myself. I like my music. I like my art. I like my comic books. I like you know doing arts. I like buying the dolls and modifying them. I'm a big kid. I said I'm a big kid. I'm a 58-year-old kid. Now if I got somebody, um, that's then it's me and her, and we're gonna figure things out together. But otherwise, these other cats, I mean, y'all ain't got nothing in common with me, and that's why I don't have many friends because of those boundaries. They come when I did let a few in, they seen how my bedroom is. I got the comic books over here. I got the dolls over here, the GI Joes and stuff like that. And they be like, "Man, you got dolls?" Yeah, I do. And man, you play with dolls? No, man, I don't be sitting there like, "Yo, hey, how you doing, Ken?" I don't do that. I said I get them and I modify them. Like I get a Barbie doll and I make it look like a machine. That's the type of stuff I do, and they don't understand it. Black don't crack, Jude. I keep telling you and Coco that, but y'all keep avoiding me anyway. But yeah, and they just don't get it. So I just said, okay, being y'all feel it's an issue when y'all come in my house, it look like a little kid's room. Y'all ain't got to come over. Point blank. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, that's true. I had to mute it because I was saying stuff I ain't had no business saying that wouldn't be said. And then now, can I? Okay, so I'm glad we talking. Can I take these last 5 minutes
It's on you.
because so let's talk about boundaries with families.
Okay.
I don't like when I think certain boundaries ahead. This is what I was talking about. So if if
Mm-hmm.
if 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 I'm a person
Mm-hmm.
that
Spit it out.
don't let other people come come out
Mm-hmm.
come out and sway you in a way to them and take you away from your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or try to make it seem like everybody else is it. Me, I think even with boundaries, I think also come a level of loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel like you're disloyal to me, I will cut you off.
Yep. Yep.
And I don't know, because I just felt like a real disloyal moment just happened. That's why I had to speak on it. And that was a boundary line of mine that was crossed that will never come back.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Word.
So I just wanted to speak on that. So coming back from the break is going to be real interesting because I'm fired up right now.
Oh, yeah.
I have a whole lot to say on this.
I've been waiting on this. It took you too
You want to
long.
take the last 4 minutes because I'm gonna need about 30 when we come back because I want to really dissect this whole thing of swaying and over people will cross your boundaries to get what they want. So we want to talk about that the stuff that happen when people cross the lines and overstep
Yeah. Okay.
their boundary lines.
Okay.
Can we talk
Yeah.
about that? But we come
Yeah.
back from the
Oh, wait. Yeah. Hey, okay. Listen, yo, we're going to have some hot cocoa when we come back. So, because I can see it in her face. You know what, listening audience? This is what I've been waiting on. I haven't triggered her in about 3 weeks, almost a month. But this time I didn't have to do it. But I still got a few more minutes, so I'll take it to the break. And you got that 30 minutes. You take as much time as you need to go all the way off. That's what I'm
I
talking
am.
about. But
I am.
yeah, I want you to. But family, the thing about family and friends boundaries between the two, they are different. But like I said, I hold them to the same standard.
Yeah.
I hold them to the same standard because see, family will screw you just as quick as your friends will. And I let them know this is me. Don't try to change me. Like what I tell people now, I'm old. I'm not changing. If I got a significant other or whatever, then
Mm-hmm.
we'll work something out. But I'm a big kid. I
Mm-hmm.
like to do kid stuff, not act like a kid, but that's the way I am. And my homies, so-called homies, except for my one homie, shout out to Herman Best Believe Bright. That's my dude. Um, Other than him, they don't get it. I'm real good with children. For some reason, children like, yeah. And that's me. I'm a big kid because the way I feel is I'm not trying to grow old up here. Because if I grow up here, my body's gonna grow old as well. So you're not gonna cross my boundary to make me be the way you want me to be. Family or friend, whatever. But if you want to take it to the break now, we can. Unless you want to go ahead and burn this last minute and a half.
No, because I'm gonna go for a second.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna need time. So what we're gonna do is
we
gonna
go
take this good break.
Hold on, time out. Listen to audience. Isn't that what I just said? If you want to go ahead
Oh,
and
that's
take
what you have to see. That's how you know it's gonna be
I
good.
just said, if you want to go ahead and take the break now, forget these last 1.5 minutes. We just go straight to the break. I just see.
Well, it's 9 now, so we're gonna have like an 8-minute break. So if you have to go to the bathroom, go grab something to drink, take a breather, take a walk, stretch your legs, do whatever it is you gotta do. But we will see you guys back in
We
about
got some hot
8.
cocoa coming, y'all. Y'all better get your cups.
Yeah.
Let's go to the break, y'all. Okay, what's up? Let's go to the break, y'all.
Justin, we still working with Justin, though. You got bed with Justin. Justin, we ready.
Yeah, we got you, Just.
Mindfulness and putting yourself first. Get into it. Okay, so when I was about 17, things started getting really, really crazy, success-wise, and it really just switched the dynamics of my family. They didn't really understand the trauma that I was going through when it came to being famous. I was thinking about getting emancipated, and I had a conversation with my attorney, and he said, you don't have to do this. Many people have experienced what you're going through. You just have to set boundaries. Oh, man. Boundaries are the stepping stone of self-respect and us teaching other people how to respect and love us. So when we don't know our own boundaries, it kind of becomes difficult to blame other people for what they may say or do. When I was a kid, girl, I would just stop talking to people forever. A lot of those people didn't even know what they did. I was actually cutting off a lot of good people that do love me and that would want to know how to best be there for me. If you find yourself in that position, it's no problem with letting that person know, look, I'm going to need some time. And if those people love you, they'll understand that. And that's why self-care is also so important. I can say from my experience as a Black American woman, there's a lot of stuff that you have to choose to block out. And that's not you being passive, that's you paying attention to the goal. It's important to add practices in your life that can help refuel you. Mindfulness, meditation, it allows the space for you to be objective to your own thoughts. Literally a few weeks ago, I was in the car with my friend and we had just came from like a lunch. He was introducing me to friends of his, and I think I was kind of nervous. And I found myself in the car. I literally caught my own thoughts attacking me. I was literally in my head being like, who did you think you were? You thought you really had it like that? Girl, you look stupid. I just caught myself trying to say mean stuff. And I just told myself it's not true. When I'm active in my practices, I'm able to catch myself much more quickly when I start to do bad self-talk. And when we're sometimes dealing with so much in the world, we don't even realize all we need is just a bit of stillness to help balance us back out. Just take 5 minutes of each day to sit still. It's just closing your eyes, sitting in the seat, and just breathing. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3. I think these things really help, and they help you to be able to see past things that are within our identities that we all have, whether it's being Black, whether it's being white, whether it's being a woman, whether it's being Spanish, whether it's being Asian, whatever it is, we all have identity and things that trigger us. So when we really become in tune and add those kinds of practices to our lives that remind us that we're not a drop in the ocean, we're the ocean in one drop, it becomes easier. And instead, let's put our focus on enjoying the ride and having fun with what we learn through this experience of being a human being and experiencing life.
Oh, look at here, look at here. And we are back. Welcome back to the Casual Convo Show. Second hour. This is where we have conversations about topics that affect the communities, personal and business relationships. We always have the casual convo, so you don't have to have the tough one. Yo, we're back for hour number 2. I'm Boscoe from the Bronx, the co-host. Hey, we got my girl Co-co, and we got some hot cocoa for this next hour. So, yo, if y'all got the tea, put it down, get yourself a fresh cup, sit down. That rhymed, didn't it? I just listened to that King Los, and that was dope. And that rhymed too. Dang, look at me. He got me hyped. He got me pumping lyrics out. But yo, I'm going to pass the mic on because she got something to say. Take off your mute.
Me. Oh,
there you go. Good.
I'm sorry. Hello. Hello. I just want to say that. Okay, so I know we're talking about boundaries. We talked about boundaries in the media. We talked about boundaries in the workplace. We talked about boundaries as a parent. All of those things. But I think also I'm going to chime in on boundaries as a parent and family, because I think people get them too messed up a lot. When it comes to boundaries, don't ever discredit that the parent does not have valid boundaries or valid safe spaces. I don't think people should try to create wedges by overstepping boundaries between families, especially children and their parents, especially when it comes to relationships. I don't think I know we like to say, oh, I trump this, I trump your mom, I trump your dad, I trump your auntie, I trump your grandmother. At some points, no, you don't. Especially if you always got to call on these people, especially if you always want people to be there for you. So when I say it's a fine line with relationships and families, people get it all the way twisted. And at some point, the person who boundaries keep getting crossed and intertwined, they have every right to speak up and back away and cut it all off. And that's why you see a lot of times people cut off family members. Yep. Because of the lack of respect, because of the disrespect, because the lines are being crossed in a lot of ways, and people feeling like their worth is more greater than somebody else's. But it's also the person the middle person of the family and the partner, that also, when we talk about accountability, that accountability got to be put on that person to make sure that those boundaries don't get crossed on either side,
Mm-hmm.
because then you have the friction. So what I wanted to talk about was what happens when them boundaries get crossed. Me personally, you either liable to get cussed out or something else.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when crossing boundaries, people don't understand that's a form of disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Disrespect is not taken lightly. Disrespect is just what it is. Disrespect becomes disrespect at the end of the day. I don't care how peaceful a person. I'm a very peaceful person. I'm a very calm person now. But at the end of the day, when you ruffle people's feathers by crossing boundaries and trying to push people buttons, and I've been in situations where people try to like push my buttons, push my buttons, push my buttons, push my buttons, but you want to see something, but then when you get what you wanted to see, you don't like it. Stop pushing people buttons. Stop playing with people. Respect people spaces, but also understand that there's still certain relationships that should not be touched. Like for me personally, and when I'm dealing with somebody, I don't like to get into their family stuff. I don't cross certain lines. I don't feel like I trump your kids. I don't feel like I trump your family. As far as like your mom, your dad, your grandparents, I know how I felt about mine. And it's nothing that's going to come between certain stuff. If anything, it's like, okay, yeah, you handle that. There are reasons and places for a certain thing, but then you can't keep crossing boundaries with one person, and the same person who you keep disrespecting, you can't expect for them to stay in their safe place and stay on the other side of that boundary. Because once you broke, I'm gonna take the whole thing away, and there won't be no boundaries because I ain't gonna be there. So we gotta learn how to respect people. Part of setting boundaries is respecting people spaces of not only sanity, mental health, safety, feelings, emotional, and all of that. And when you start to see emotional people, it's because either they allow people to keep crossing their boundaries. So now they don't even have no control over their emotions, and they can't even express themselves because people don't respect their space. Y'all better start respecting people for y'all get hurt. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I had my mic on mute. Yeah, that was solid. I agree with you 100%. And I'm glad you addressed that because me and my niece Morena, she couldn't tune in tonight because she was busy, but we spoke about that earlier today. That exact thing you talked about, how people say they kind of put themselves on tiers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's all I can say. That was solid. That's all I could say. That was on point. That was real. That was real. Um, Damn. Yeah. That was real. That was real. I didn't think about that earlier, during the show. But yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get me wrong. I do have boundaries. I have safe spaces, and
Yeah.
also I think certain things like conversations like this is also therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
Um, I'ma just I'm I'ma just say that. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
for bringing up Barry Fallon's Fallon, but it is what it is. And
Yeah.
for me, sometimes I feel like um not even for me, for a lot of people, we create boundaries, but
Hmm.
then we make exceptions a lot of time. We start making adjustments. We start making
Hmm.
compromises. But a lot of times we think the compromise is equal and balanced, but a lot of times it's not. When we're
Hmm.
constantly compromising and restructuring our boundaries to make somebody else happy, but you got people that won't even bend the pencil back to play pencil fighting with you,
Hmm.
and
You
they won't
know.
even keep tapping that pencil until a break. So it's still kind of like understand that
Hmm.
everybody, sometimes even when you keep stretching the rubber band, yeah, it's bendable, but it breaks.
Right.
Well, people break.
Right.
People can only take but so much. When
Mm-hmm.
you have especially in like relationships and stuff like that, that's where I feel like the most compromise, the most everything is done. And it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like you can adjust, like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going, okay, yeah, they don't like this, they don't like that. But then you realize sometimes a person don't even realize, damn, she don't really like that. And then like they might know you don't like something or something don't agree with
Mm-hmm.
you or something
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go into your
Mm-hmm.
values,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll do it anyway.
Yep.
Like, what you mean? But
Yep.
then as soon as you do something and you're like, well, this is why, da, 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 you can explain and have valid reason why something else, but because that's the
Mm-hmm.
boundary they set and you stay over there. But I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
cross every line that you set forth. That ain't fair. That's
Yeah.
actually fucking hurtful. And that's why you had so many emotional, nagging, clingy,
Mm-hmm.
over jealous people.
Mm-hmm.
Cause of them y'all
Yeah.
better set them boundaries right.
Buried feelings. Sometimes just because feelings are buried don't mean they should be forgotten. Because some of those lessons, like what you just said, they may have been buried feelings, but I think they needed to be heard. Because I wouldn't have thought about that. Me and my niece talked about it earlier, but that's just me and my niece. Other people may say, okay, damn, that makes sense. So what you said may have been buried, but it came back up, and it's it helped.
I
People need
understand
to
that.
hear it.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I understand the buried feelings because sometimes, and that's why I even throughout my life I had to learn. People look at confrontation as a bad thing. Confrontation is not bad. Being confrontational is not a bad thing. You have good and bad confrontation, but
Mm-hmm.
some people, at one point, I wouldn't address anything,
Mm-hmm. Me too.
and that's so when we bury our feelings, we suppress it instead of
Right.
addressing it. And that's where the bending and the
Mm-hmm.
compromising coming from. And we letting our emotions suffer. We letting ourselves suffer just to make other people be a people pleaser. To me, that's where
That's
the
what.
people pleasing come in at. So
Mm-hmm.
when you have buried feelings, because those are emotions that you didn't want to deal with
Mm-hmm.
at the time. And I know I've had some, but then
Mm-hmm.
those feelings do surface, and when they surface, it come out, not saying bad because it may not be just that situation. It could be several things. Because when you're a person that can easily, and it sounds bad, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
thing, suppress your emotions, suppress
Mm-hmm.
your feelings, and act like nothing even matters. Because you always, and that's where your strong people come in at,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they say check on yours, because we're not allowed to have freaking emotions.
You know what? You're right, and that's what I said about buried feelings. Buried feelings shouldn't be forgotten because, like I said, those are feelings that you suppressed, but you never solved them. And see, you bringing them back up, you know, telling who's listening to say that made a lot of sense because that was powerful. So, um, and yeah, that's how I've always been, and I'm still like that a little bit. I've always had a problem expressing my feelings, you know, and I would let things build up until to the point I had anger issues. I would just snap. I wouldn't have typed that would snap on women, but I would snap. I would just go into a verbal tirade, and you couldn't calm me down. Even my eldest daughter, she's like that, and I don't calm her down because I know how I was. I would let her, and then I'd be like, "Yo, blah 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 blah." And we would talk, you know. We know she never snapped at me like that, but I would see her go at somebody else like that. But once she calmed down, me and her would talk, and she was like, "Yeah." But I told her, I said, I don't intervene because that's how I was. And I know how I was when people try to intervene. I wound up getting angry at the wrong person. And she would simmer down because her nickname is Hurricane. I gave her that name years ago because when she gets going, you just gotta wait till you gotta weather the storm. So her nickname is
Right.
Hurricane. But I'm with you on it. I'm on 100%. And I think that goes to one of the things we're talking about. Can boundaries be negotiable? Um, I think they can, but I think they need to be negotiated before they're crossed.
Mm.
Because
Speak on that negotiation. What that mean? Come on.
like just say like with me, I'm the type of person I like a lot of time to myself. That's just how I am. You know, it's not anything like I said, anything psychological. And I always put that out there because people can say you shouldn't psychological, you shouldn't da da da. No, it's not. I like a lot of time to myself. And I was in a relationship where, you know, the woman I was with, you know, I told her this before we got serious. I said, you know, I'm a type of person, you know, I like to be by myself. But you know, when I give it to you, and I don't want people to get the dirty mind. I'm not saying it like that. When I would give it to her, like emotions or whatever, you know, I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna love you hard. And I told her that, and she kept feeling like I was just not showing her enough um time or whatever. And when I sat down, I mean, I admitted I did tell her I was like that, but then I really thought about like I'm really not giving her the time because she did tell me how she was. She said, "Look, I'm a real affectionate person." Da 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 da. Da. Which I was like, I like that, which I did, and I do. But I wasn't giving her that that affection she wanted, and I felt like she was accepting my boundaries. Where you know, give me time, but I wasn't crossing the line with her the way what she wanted. And I said, okay, well, I do spend a lot of time by myself, and I knew you were a person who was real affectionate, and I compromised. I was like, yeah, okay, stuff like that, and yeah, and I agree with Fallon, you know, and yeah, it's just I think stuff like that could be compromised, but it has to be something within means. You just can't.
So
A
walk me
person,
through what that conversation looks like. Because I think people don't understand that there's a certain conversation that you can have to even compromise. Like
mhm,
sometimes you got to take baby steps, but I think
yeah,
some people ask for the whole damn platter before even just getting some
yeah.
soup.
Well, with her, the way it was, and you know who I'm referencing, my daughter's mother. You know, I always
Mhm.
use her as my baseline. Um, the way it was, I knew how she was before I met her because I knew someone who dated her. So I knew she was that type of person who, in public, she's gonna hold your hand. I mean, she was like, you know, if you're sitting on the couch just looking at the sun, she's gonna lay next to you and lean on you. I knew that was the type of because the guy told me he couldn't deal with it because she was always on him.
Mhm.
So I knew all of that. And we sat down and talked. And like anyone I meet, we always sign like a little contract. We just write out the things we like, the things that's just the way we do. I said, let's do it this way where we know. Because we know
Mhm.
sometimes the mind will play tricks on us and we'll forget. So we did all that. And I told her I like to be, you know, I like to be alone a lot, blah, 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 blah. And I said, it's nothing against you. Because at that time I had a problem with telling people I love them, even though I did. But what I would do is, rather than saying it to a person, I would show them. See, that's how my family knows me. I may not say it, but I show them. And they say, okay, he don't say it, but he shows it, which actions just speak louder than words. So we just sat down and talked, and she told me, you know, when we got together, you knew what type of person I was. You knew that before we got together. And I was like, yeah. And you accepted that. I was like, yeah. And, you know, and I said, well,
Do
you
you
know how
think
I
that's
was. Huh?
Do you think that's valid and that people shouldn't expect people to change? Because I think we hear that a lot when people are like, well, I was
Mhm.
like this when you met me. So
Well,
it's kind of like just like saying accept me for who I ain't going to never change nothing. I think at some point in a relationship, some type of change happens.
it was a little different with us because she asked me, could I accept that? And I said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I made the mistake, you know, because she was willing to, you know, compromise.
Mm-hmm.
But I just said, oh, don't worry about that. I don't mind that, you know.
So
And
do
that's
you
so
think people can change their minds?
I don't know.
I think so.
I
I
think
think
yeah,
I think as
I
you
think the
grow,
person. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what I
As you
think
grow, yeah.
even in relationships, some people grow and go still going through processes and journeys of
Hmm.
life. So as a person changes and their outlook or mindset change, I look at it like, for me to say, okay, I'm gonna just accept this, because certain things that I would accept before, I wouldn't accept, now. I think that's with anybody. As you grow, as you learn, and you get into different phases of your life, and how you examine what you want and what you need. And I think you learn them in different phases of your life. So when I said sometimes you might be like, oh yeah, this was cool. So you don't know what happened between now and then. It could have been a life lesson or something that might have happened that you may be like, hey, um, but, oh.
Educational.
So
It
it's
was
kind of
powerful. Yeah.
I think for the most part, people sometimes you can say, hey, I know I said this wasn't going to be a problem, but
Yeah.
it might be. It's starting. Maybe I spoke too soon, and then I think that conversation can be had, because I think it's all amount of how people communicate too.
That's what we did. That's how it went. And then after that, it got better because she kind of broke me out of that shell. Where I just wanted to be. I mean, I'm still like that, but I guess she taught me how to be more, I guess, more
Open.
apprehensive. Yeah, more open.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the way she was is what I liked, but I knew how I like to be alone. But it worked out for the better. It worked out for the better. I mean, in the end, we split because I kind of went back to that, being, separated. Gemini. We both are Geminis. That's why we gel so good.
Pisces, they always emotional. They got a bunch of emotional boundaries that they don't never stick to.
Yeah, but see, the thing about it, like you said, but as I got older, I matured more with that, to where now, the last relationship I was, it wasn't an issue. Oh, okay, Fallon, I hear you. Hey, look here, Fallon. Let me tell you.
Don't do that.
Let me tell you right now. Jude turned me down. Co-co be fronting. Hey, I'm not saying that you're at the bottom of the food chain, but oh, Fallon, you go, girl. That's what I'm talking about.
She was overly emotional Pisces. Still whole Pisces. See, I'm glad that other Pisces are left.
See, I knew I liked Fallon for a reason. You know what I mean?
No, I think, okay, so let me ask you this, because this was something that popped up.
We need to talk offline, Fallon, but go ahead.
Fallon, cool. It's something that popped up that I wanted to see how you felt about it. So as I was like doing the stuff or whatever, spiritual and religious boundaries. That was interesting for me, because you never really think about it. But I think those boundaries are set more socially than anything, but they can also trickle into your friendships, your relationships, and things like that.
I think religion causes a lot of problems. At the time when me and her were together, she was a Christian, I was a diehard Muslim, but we got along real good because we knew it was about us. We said, you know what? It's about us. And we're trying to make each other happy. So I didn't try to put nothing on her. She didn't try to put nothing on me. We said, look, we're going to do this our way. So we put religion and everything aside. We may have prayed together, but other than that, we said, this is us. We didn't bring it. We didn't involve it.
I had that. I faced that in with my family, as well as in relationships with my family, because we had some members of the family that even to this day are like heavily into organized. I consider it organized religion.
Organized, yeah.
And not to say I used to go to church. I used to be on the usher board, all that stuff. I used to be on the choir. You couldn't tell me nothing because I wanted to be like mama.
That's how it was with Islam.
With my little lace socks and everything. But anywho.
Me too. The kufi, the robe, I was a whole lick.
The whole little shebang. So I think as I got older, there are also a lot of members of my family who are more spiritual
Yeah, me too.
than religious. And I think a lot of times people heavily misconstrue the two of being spiritual.
Yes.
So when as I got older and started going through different things, especially I'm gonna say in my 30s, going in my 30s on up, I
Hmm.
started to have understands of different things. Like, I mean, I have a cousin that's he's also Muslim, he's Sunni, so he's strict with a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Like he been the Mecca, all of those
yeah,
things. So it's kind of like, I mean, he in deep, right?
yeah. I
Love
was
it.
Sunni.
So it's certain things, and he has said, like my grandmother used to always call him by his original, birth name, and he'd
Yeah,
be like, my name is da 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 da, and she
yeah.
would be like, so and so, you better go ahead and you want some bacon, cause she like you was brought up on it, and I was like,
My
oh,
mother did that to me too.
in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm like, hell no, you didn't, and my grandma would be like, what? He ate it before, now all of a sudden,
My
and
mother did it to me
older
too.
people are um so disrespectful sometimes, and it's like,
Exactly, Fallon.
yeah, when they
Yeah.
get older, yeah, when they older, it's like, I mean, she used to go in, it was nothing that he could do to make her call. So it got to the point he was
Hmm.
like, forget it, she's just gonna do what she gonna do. And I should try to talk to her because I
Yeah.
knew how he felt about it, and he came a long way. And then it was kind of like when I made the decision for myself, like I wasn't going to go to church no more. I didn't want to go. I seen some things that didn't sit well with me, but I've also like read the Quran. I've
Hmm.
looked at I had friends who were like Jehovah Witness. I read their stuff. Um, I read up on like Buddhism, all those
Hmm.
things, meditate. I got into everything. Not saying got into it, but you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I look at it like a lot of them say the same thing, but they have different teachings
Yeah.
with a lot. So I think it's all about the perception and who's delivering it when it comes to certain. That's just my take on it. But I do have a faith. I'm just more
Hmm.
spiritual than I
Me
am
too. Me
religious.
too.
And I agree with Jay. Like, if you're religious, don't force it on me. So a lot of times it took a lot for my family used to be like, oh, you need to come on and come and do this. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no. You know what I mean? I don't, that's not what I want. It wasn't feeding
Hmm.
my soul. I was getting it different from other places, but I noticed the more spiritual I became and I went into it and I became more in tune with like nature, the universe, and
Hmm.
higher powers and things and energies and things like that. I became
Hmm.
more peaceful
Yeah.
within.
Right.
And I
I
feel like that's what your faith is supposed to do for your soul. It's supposed to bring you a balance. It's supposed to bring you peace. It's supposed to give you some sense of purpose. I
when I
wasn't getting it.
when I left organized religion, um, and this became spiritual, best decision I made. And I still have people who say, "Yeah, yeah." Now I gotta get those brothers I was with and sisters and Muslim brothers, still my homies, still my brothers and sisters. And but a lot of people outside of them still try to say, "But you're this." Don't tell me who I am, because who I am is not helping me going forward. I have to
Mhm.
find my way, wherever road that is. That's where I need to go, but I need to find it myself because me and you are not the same. We're not the same. That's why I don't get into the stuff, and I don't want to piss people off, and I don't mean to go left as we usually do. But that's why I don't listen to people say you're a
I know
Hebrew.
like what left.
Yeah, you're a Hebrew. No, you're this. That all that stuff don't matter to me right now because I got to go forward. Me calling myself a Hebrew is not helping me make money. It's not helping me buy property. It's not helping me do nothing. It's not giving me a free cup of coffee. I got to find my path because if there's something at the end of the road, I need to find how to get there. And calling myself something is not, I don't care what book you read, calling yourself something is never,
I'm sorry, you lost me at the free coffee. I was like, free coffee? Dang, what else?
I know,
But
I used to say free lunch. I used to say free lunch, but we talking hot cocoa right now, so I got to talk along those lines. Um, it's not helping me get to whatever's supposed to be at the end of the road. If there's something, it's not helping me. What I call myself is not going to help me get anywhere, nowhere. One reason is because of this right here. So don't tell me what I am or where I came from, because where I came from is not helping me go that way. It's keeping me back. It's suppressing me. It's put me in the whole. It's put me in that group of people that I see on Facebook every day, who try to act like they know everything, but they're afraid to speak their mind off of social media. They're not out in the street saying it, but on social media they got this. Oh yeah, I'm this that. I'm Prince whoever. I don't want to hear that nonsense.
Do
And
you
that's
think?
what. Hmm?
Do you think a person that's religious and a person that's spiritual could be together?
Yeah,
Explain
yeah,
that.
yeah. You just have to know your boundary. You just gotta. The two just have to realize. Okay, um, I'm to say I'm Christian, and the other one has to realize that that person is. They just believe in the universe. You just gotta respect each other. That's it. When me and my daughter's mother, like I said, she was a diehard Christian, and I was a kufi wearing to the. I was a whole lick Sunni, just like your uncle or whatever. But you know what? We both agreed there was one God,
Hmm.
and we was like, that's it. And still, we didn't bring that into our relationship. We didn't. Like, even her church members used to say that they used to talk to me, but they didn't talk bad mouth about it. But she defended me to where the Muslim brothers and sisters, they was like, hey, tell a sister to come to the mosque. But see,
I
that's what made me, that's what made me accepting of things. But once I left Islam, and I'm to Muslim brothers and sisters, I just felt I had to find another path. Um, and I still talk to them. I still go to the mosque. They just realized that I had to find my own. I had to find my own path,
hmm
and don't try to change me, because I just something came to me to say something's not something just didn't. I left Christianity because something in the Bible didn't add up. I read it from cover to cover twice, word for word. Took notes. I still have my notes, and things just didn't add up. And then I watched the members how they acted, and I said, "That don't add up," and I left. And I think as Christian, I think a religious person and a spiritual person can gel, because they just have to. They just can't force what they believe on the other person.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I agree with Jay Nathaniel when he said that. But I think one religion, but I
Hmm.
think we also got to be mindful of, and I think the educated piece of certain, in order to create certain boundaries, I think you got to be educated on certain things. Like I can't
Hmm.
sit here and say I want to build with a guy who is strict in Islam,
It's
because
hard.
part of that relationship, at some point, for it to go to the next level, if you're like a woman
Hmm.
or a man that wants to be married, you're gonna have to convert.
Yeah, you have to convert.
You got that's their religion. So
Yeah,
certain religions are not compromisable. And I
right.
think the reality is we could say we want all of these things and this could be the perfect man, but are you willing to make that step too?
Hmm.
It's not to say that it's being forced on you. We already know that's an expectation
Hmm.
based off of that the standard of that religion.
Hmm.
So I think when we talk about now two people, now if I'm spiritual and somebody else is, and when
Hmm.
people force it on, I think sometimes people think a conversation is being forced. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I think sometimes it's okay to have conversations. Even I don't think you should shy away from it, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because
Hmm.
sometimes when we don't agree or on the same stand, we tend to shy away from having certain conversations because it can still be something that I may learn from a person that may
Hmm.
practice differently, and they may learn some things from me. Like, damn, I never thought about it like that. Because a lot of times it's
Hmm.
always the unspoken middle, that
Yeah.
gray area, and sometimes you can clear some of that smoke by just a simple conversation. But I think also just learning and perspective can also increase your knowledge and your inner self, so to speak.
And see, that's another reason why I left religion, because I can't live by that standard where, like if I'm Muslim and she's Christian, she got to convert, because that means I'm forcing my belief on her. And just like with some Christians, you had them some hardhead Christians to feel like this is the only way, da 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 da, and you believe in another God, which is BS. And even when I was married, and even when I was married, my late wife, she was Christian, and she asked me, "Do I have to convert to Islam?" I said, "Not if you don't want to." I just told her just like that. I said, "No, I'm taking you for who you are." No, and she said, "Well, that's against your religion." I said, "Well, I told her I said I married you because I was marrying you. I didn't marry you to convert. I married you because I married you." And stuff like that is what made me leave. I was like, the way I saw it was like, and I'm just gonna say it: religion is controlling, is dictating. They want you to be this certain way, but half the people, no matter what religion, half the people not even living, half not even. I keep it spiritual.
I think I'm not gonna say all religious people are bad.
No.
Because I know some that are great, but I think the issue that came from me was that statement, "Thou shalt not judge."
Mm. Oh.
We can never judge a person, but
Mm-hmm.
I seen a lot of people within the church that I was going to would go in there hooping, hollering, shouting, running around, and come outside and judge every
Everybody.
freaking body. And something about that started to weigh on me. Then you
Yep.
just like talking about people, you cussing and just demeaning people, and I'm like, that's not godly.
Soon, right out, I come out of church. Did you
Yeah,
see what's her
that's what I
name?
mean. Like, soon as you
Yeah.
come out the door, they walk up to their car, and and as a child or teenager, and you hear this, and it's kind of like, yeah, you come to get your spirit fed, and they say don't pay attention to the things. But if this is the energy that's in this house, that energy is going to penetrate me.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that when it comes to energies and force fields and things like that. When you have negative around you, you can feel that shift. And I just didn't want that around me. And I didn't want to be that because I was taught something else.
That's those
You know what I
boundaries.
mean? So even just like I still like certain things that was considered not like tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
piercings, all that stuff. So I remember I got my first one. When I was like, oh, it better what that wash off. He come on wiping my arm. I was like, it's like it's no,
I
it's
still
it.
don't have one, and I want one so badly. I
I'm
still don't
like,
have
nope,
one.
it's fine. So what I went and got another one.
Yeah, but see,
And
that's
I
that's
kept
what I mean.
I kept getting them, but it's kind of like you got to let people be them and express
Mm-hmm.
who they are, how they want to express, who they are. So it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like you just can't um expect for people to go in the same box that you in. And I think sometimes it's like, okay, if you do something that's not according to what they would want to do, and it's like nobody lives completely righteously.
No,
If that's the case, listen, we all sin. And
I'm a
and it,
broken.
and it
I'm a
clearly
broken arrow.
yeah, and it clearly says no sin is greater than the other. So who are you
Right.
to choose and say what my sins are? And you not looking at yours. So I try to back away from certain things like that. And then I would get questioned about, okay, so what is meditation? What is this? What is that? And I'm like, something maybe you need to try because you're a little angry and aggressive.
Meditation. When I wake
It's
up in the
beautiful.
morning, when I wake up in the morning, um, I'll sit right at the edge of my bed and I'll just close my
Mhm.
eyes and I'll medicate. Sometimes I even talk out loud in my house, and I'm glad no one lives here. They be like, "Man, he crazy," but I'll sit at the edge of the bed and I'll talk out loud, and I'll say to they say, "What do you know?" I tell my niece, I say, "I'm talking to the universe." I talk out loud, and when I'm done, I'm like, I feel better, and people should try it. But
Yeah,
some
I
people
have
think
a
it's a
whole
form of yeah. Some people think it's a form of devil worshiping. No, you just you just into your thoughts, and you're just trying to
you
shape
see
everything.
things. I think it gives you a vision of clarity. And I
Hmm.
think when it's done correctly and when you have Well, whatever I look at, like whatever brings you peace, whatever feeds your soul, whatever feeds your brain, your mind. I say stick with that. You get what I
Stick with
mean?
it.
Do
Right.
what you need to do, but don't
Right.
knock the next person for doing that. Because for me, like when I meditate and I do certain things that keep, especially if I'm like in my thoughts and they kind of all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
and I just sit, I see things so clearly. I can hear things. I hear things differently. I get a different
Yep.
perspective. You come more in tune with your surroundings and with, especially if you do it outside
Oh
by
man.
the ocean or in a nice little environment or something like that is beautiful. Like me personally, I like to listen to nature sounds, waves crashing, stuff
Oh
like that.
man. Look here.
Some
I
type of
sleep
shit.
so good with that too.
Yeah, so it's kind of like when you do it and it's like a sense of calm. And people don't
Yep.
understand the calmer you are and the less disturbed you are, the more peaceful you become.
I don't want to change the subject. Well, I'm not changing the subject. I got one thing I listen to. It's a train. It's a train. It's a train. It's a continuous a train. You know the train. It's a regular
Like,
passenger train. Yeah, I listen to it, and it's sometimes it's to
where
the
the
point to
trying to be
where
going?
I have a no. It's just a continuous ride. It's a train. It's of audio. It's an audio, and I've listened to it so much that sometimes it'll beep a horn every so often. You hear the train tracks and the whole thing, you know. And sometimes when I hear the horn, like I'll go to sleep,
Hmm.
and then in the morning I'll hear the horn, and I wake up, and I'm like, okay, it is time to get up. Yeah, it just my mind is. But see, and when I'm sleeping, sometimes I know it sounds funny as hell, but I'm a different type of guy. To keep telling y'all, when I'm sleeping, sometimes it's like I can hear the train in my sleep, and it's kind of like it's hard to explain. It's like the episode of Twilight Zone Willoughby where the guy got on the train. It's hard
So
to
it's
explain.
certain noises. I think people like me. I love like listening to rain.
Oh man, the rain!
Like
I
I
can't
will,
get past 5 seconds.
I listen to the rain and like thunder and like the rain like on like a windowsill or something like that.
Take me
Just to
5 minutes and
pass
I'm
it.
out.
Yes,
5 minutes and I'm
it's
out.
so peaceful. But I just think it's where you draw your lines
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's where you draw your lines, and people have to respect that.
Yeah.
People have to respect that. Period. But you know, we need going forward. Yeah, I need to send you some lists of some shows because we be going left and right, and I'll be like, man, that's a good show. That's a good show.
I know. I tried to go make a reaction on it. But then
That's a
Judah
good
called
show.
me and be like, friend, I got a good one for you. Because these motherfuckers out here. And I'm like, oh Lord. Especially she in the car, she done came up with like 18,000 topics in one. Cause this is crazy. We need to talk about this, friend. Talk about it on
Hey,
this is what she said. Talk about it on your casual convo. And I'm like,
but we still need to get the food show though.
that's coming up.
Okay. Yeah, we got to get the food show. I'm ready for that one. I got some stuff. I got some
Well,
techniques to talk
then
about.
that's gonna be yours. That's
Okay.
your thing. You get that
I
together.
could talk about gardening, how to harvest your joints. When I call them your joints, your fruit and stuff like that. I want people thinking the wrong thing when I say harvest your joints. Harvest your fruits, your vegetables, and how to cook them off, and how to peel them, and yeah. Now nutrition, I don't know. I'm a little bit of nutrition, but when it comes to
I
food,
mean, I've been to a nutritionist.
yeah, I know a little bit. But when it comes to food, how to cook it, how to harvest it from your yeah, I'm how to can it up. Nah, harvest your own. I know see Lamont be popping in and out, but he see the
Right.
popping when the trigger words pop up. Like, okay, that means I need
Like, hold up. Yeah.
the key words. Yeah,
Mm.
but that too, man. And look at
Boundaries are
Fallon fall
boundaries.
right in. It's legal now. Hold up, yo, wait.
Right. What's legal?
I mean, Yeah, she knows.
Oh.
It's funny how Lamar said something. She come right behind her like it's legal.
Look, I had to get myself together on the break. I had to,
Oh man.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, I think we had a pretty good show. Your opening in the second hour was on point. That's why I said it was educational aggressive. There was something like it needed to be put out there. That was on point. And I was about
I'm
time.
mad at what took me to get there. See, that's that boundary line. So I'm gonna have to meditate on that when we
But I'm being nosy, so you could text me and tell me what happened. I grew up around a bunch of women, so
I was
got you.
trying to hold it. I couldn't hold it no more.
Nah, you're straight. I'm glad you did because I didn't have to trigger you this time. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, between you and Rich, y'all. Ooh, I'm just glad y'all friend wasn't on here because
I was just getting ready to say that. I said, I'll get ready to say when Mike came on here, you'd have been flipped the script.
Hold up.
Mike would have took it that way. Because I see when you put in the link and he replied, said, "Oh, I'm gonna be on this one tonight." I was like, "Oh."
Look, in my mind, I said, "Oh Lord, do I got any tequila? Like, what's going on?" I'll be there.
Oh, he gonna be there at 18. I might be up there that time too.
What day that's on?
Huh?
So what day that's on? I take off.
I think that's a midweek day. Let me see. December 18th. Because I think I'm gonna be up that way the same time. Hold on a second.
We so dysfunctional. I'm here making plans.
That is on a Sunday.
Oh, all right, yeah. I'm off anyway. So that's
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
I'm gonna go somewhere watch
we can all link up then. Shoot. Hell yeah. That's what's up.
He said a Friday.
Nah,
you
it's
in a day month?
Nah, it's on a Sunday.
Oh, all right.
December 18th, right?
Okay. That works.
Oh, I just closed it off. Dang it. Can y'all see?
Okay. You got Android.
Of course.
Put that shit down. Don't like.
Nah, I don't mess with no. I had me an Apple. Oh, he said the 16th. Okay, there we go. See, Lamont already done harvest his.
Don't you put that damn Android at that? Put that shit down.
You gotta put that iPhone. I changed from iPhone. I said I'm never going back to iPhone. You could drop this 1,000 times.
And then y'all put them raggedy motherfuckers up so confidently. Put that shit down. Yeah.
Android 820.
Anyway, what we talking about next week? Do you know? I don't know.
No, I gotta look.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're gonna see y'all next week.
Harvest them joints, Lamont.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. You want to close us out?
Yeah. I got like a minute and a half. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We had these convos, so everyone, tune in next week because we got some things going on as we usually do. Don't be afraid. Hand radio.
I got one thing to say. I'm sorry. I know it's 1 minute left. So I did want to tell people about your boundaries. Mm-hmm. If they're yours, stick to them. Don't let nobody tell you got too many. Have as many as you need to have to create your safe space. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, you good. Shouts out to Hand Radio TV. Listen to us there. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Look up Co-co. She's on there. I'm the Mixtrician. THE_MIXTICAN. I'm on there. I'll be wilding out too. Shouts out to Justin, the new man behind the boards. Of course, Richie Rich in the back, schooling him. But we're gonna leave this alone. We're gonna head up out of here. Peace out from the Casual Convo Show. Take us home, Just.